Hello, and welcome to the Irish Gaze podcast. How's it going, fellas?
It's going pretty good.
We've just finished recording one there. Vesty's out the door. Tom's in the door.
I'm in through the door, yes.
Hello, Thomas.
Hello.
Kirby.
We were recording our football topic for the week, and now we're going to record our American sports topic.
So today we're kind of just having a look at again, like before the Roadmania, we're going to have a look at the Super Showdown show, see how Elimination Chamber is shaping up, and just have a general look at what way Mania is shaping up. And
these wee free-form podcasts where we don't really take many notes, just sort of off the cuff. We've already released one. It was sort of a Royal Rumble reaction and what all happened there. So as Big Crippy says, continue the road to Wrestlemania.
Yeah, it's the best time of the year, supposedly.
Well,
although now from the start having these Saudi Arabian shows in, it's
an interesting time.
Yeah.
Well, me and Tom, we were just literally saying, me and you, Tom,
haven't watched it.
Don't
want to watch it.
Did see the results, but this sort of like talking about wrestling a wee bit more often again has kind of sparked a wee bit more interest in it again for us. Like,
yeah,
you watch it every week.
I watch it every week anyway.
Me and you, Tom, like we're sort of back in the mix.
We're actually putting some time into watching it again.
Well, start off talking about, as you were saying there, Super Showdown. It was the last big event there. It was on Thursday. We're shooting this on a Sunday. I've watched Super Showdown, and it was, a lot more had happened than usually happens, because a lot of times these Saudi Arabian shows are just glorified house shows, like,
they're sort of said on that road to WrestleMania one, we didn't think there'd be any major changes in the storylines and things. So.
And there was one. We'll get to that when we get there, but
everybody knows it.
Everyone knows it. Like, if you've stumbled upon this and you're any kind of wrestling fan, you're either outraged or, well, you should be outraged, but you could be one of the strange people that are happy enough. Like,
apparently they lost 50,000 Facebook followers over the head of it.
Serious?
No joke. Seen that
That's
today.
crazy, aye. But we'll go from the start of the Super Showdown card. We'll work our way through.
Christopher.
So it started off on the pre-show, just a 10-minute match between the OC, which is Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, versus the Viking Raiders. Nothing particularly exciting. The OC won, obviously, but it was just a pre-show match, 10-minute TV-style match, nothing too exciting that happened.
Even with the expanse of the rosters and the size of the rosters, it's still hard because there's so many good, talented, like Gallows and Anderson they're a damn good tag team. Like,
oh, they are.
It's just hard to fit everybody into meaningful storylines and title pictures.
And they've been feuding back and forth with the Viking Raiders recently, sort of on and off, so it made sense too, like. Good to see them both at least get onto the card, get that beautiful Saudi payday. But then the show actually opened up properly with the gauntlet match for the Tyweek.
Alright, you're just making noises with your mouth now.
Tyweek trophy. I've definitely mispronounced that, but so this trophy, the cap going on about it, the commentary, it's basically named after a mountain in Saudi Arabia. It's meant to signify like strength and power.
So basically this has about the same meaning as the Andre the Giant.
It has no meaning whatsoever. But throughout the whole show, Michael Cole kept calling it the most prestigious Tyweek trophy. Oh my god, guys.
Is that your best Michael Cole impression? Because that was shocking.
Oh, here, it's Michael Cole. That was the best Michael Cole impression you'll ever hear.
I don't want to hear it again.
But so they kept going on about how prestigious it was, but it started off anyway with R-Truth. R-Truth and Bobby Lashley started off.
R-Truth got a little bit of airtime.
Oh, he did. R-Truth and Bobby Lashley started off, and R-Truth beat Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley ended up going into, he went to shoulder Truth. Truth moved out of the way. He shouldered into the turnbuckle. I forgot the word for turnbuckle there.
Stole for a bit. What was that? About 2 seconds there.
Turnbuckle. But he went shoulder head first into the turnbuckle or whatever, and then Truth ended up rolling him up. Got the 1, 2, 3. Truth went through. Next out was Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan sort of beat him up a bit. And then Truth ended up thrown into the stairs or whatever, and then knocked Eric Rowan's cage flying. And do you remember the cage?
Yeah, the cage still floating about now.
We still don't know what's in it.
Still don't know what's in the cage.
No, it'll be Hornswoggle. So WWE's go-to when they don't know, they've picked themselves into a corner and don't know what else to do. It's Hornswoggle. That's Vince McMahon's illegitimate son.
It's the get-out
clause. But so then Eric Rowan started to sort of beat him up a bit, but Truth again got the win. beat Eric Rowan, and then Eric Rowan beat him up after the bell. But next out then was Andrade, and Andrade came out. They had a bit of a back and forth.
Was he not suspended?
Oh, this was his first match back from suspension.
Oh, okay.
He's been suspended. Angel Garza's sort of joined his faction at the minute.
Who's that?
You know, he was the 205 Live champion in the last takeover we watched.
Oh, that's.
I
don't remember.
Well, he's been called up. He's now sort of joined him and Selena, so Andrade. But then Truth ended up going over Andrade as well. Andrade went for his sort of back.
Loving this right now. We've got a big R-Truth fan.
There's a theme, like just clearly running through this Super Showdown or whatever. I think it's literally just like. Get people on TV that they know.
That's it. Like, you know, I believe that one of the members of the Saudi royal family, or one of the head sort of people that puts the show together, requested Yokozuna to come, and he's been dead for 20 years.
Well, there's that.
So, you know, they requested Yokozuna, and they ended up for the Greatest Royal Rumble getting in just a random big sumo guy, hoping nobody would notice the difference.
Are you serious?
But well, you know, they got a big random sumo guy in, but they didn't call him Yokozuna or anything, like, but, you know, because they requested, they wanted Yokozuna in it. But so I basically, you know, to keep the Saudis happy, they just put him over people they might know. But so Andrade went for a spinning elbow. They ended up clashing heads, R-Truth and Andrade. Andrade collapsed, and then Truth pinned him. Got the 1, 2, 3. Then AJ Styles came out, and obviously Truth had been through 3 opponents at this point. Was beaten up.
I know what follows very shortly after. Yeah.
So
okay.
AJ Styles. Well, AJ Styles then ends up going over Truth pretty handily. Messes about with him a bit, plays with him a bit, and then, you know, goes over him pretty handily. And then it flashes to R-Truth, and he's smiling. And then the music's cued for the next opponent. Rey Mysterio's music hits, who's supposed to come out last. No Rey Mysterio. Whereas Rey Mysterio flashes back to AJ again. He's smiling, you know. Obviously, he knows something's up. And then it flashes up to the screen and shows backstage Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows obviously beating Rey Mysterio up backstage. And you know, AJ starts saying, "Oh, I've won and got over," and you know, we were trying to lift the trophy and things like that. You know, typical heel carry on.
Heel AJ.
And then the referee says, "No, right? I'm going to give it a count of 10 or whatever and if it hits the count of 10 and no one, you know, your opponent hasn't been able to make it to the ring, then you'll be declared the winner." So he starts the count, gets to maybe 5 or 6, and then all of a sudden on the big screen it comes up again, and you just see Luke Gallows getting thrown into frame, and then Carl Anderson getting thrown into frame. And you don't see who it is, and then he walks by and you just see the black boots in the bottom of the coat. So then obviously you know who it is.
Oh yeah.
And then you know.
Oh yeah.
The music hits. I loved it. Creamed myself. You know, as old as I think he is, and as much as I think he probably needs to retire, I still, you know, get goosebumps every time he comes down to the ring.
Yeah.
He's my favourite of all time, and it'll never change.
We have an interesting podcast coming out on our sort of Wrestling Mount Rushmore. We'll not give too much away, but there's maybe a couple of men featured here.
But Undertaker then, you know, comes down to the ring, takes, you know, his usual 45 minutes to walk down to the ring.
Took longer than 10 seconds, eh?
Well, the ref had stopped counting at this stage. You know, you don't count the Undertaker out. But Taker comes on down to the ring. He doesn't get his hat or his coat or anything off at this point. He just comes into the ring. AJ tries to like quickly attack him. Taker hits him with 1 choke slam, pins him 1, 2, 3.
Get people on TV.
Now, I would have been completely against that, only I'm about 90% sure that they're setting up Taker, AJ Styles at Mania.
Oh, that's exactly what
So, I mean, like, you know, I'd have been 100% upset at that, only if, you know, if that's where it's going to go down the line, I'll be happy. Like,
there's all them reports.
You see, like, I hate to say it, but like, you know, for AJ to go down just as quickly as that, I understand these are the types of things that they do to set up, like, you know, what comes next. But I think that would have worked probably better with the likes of Sting had they got that match going.
Like Taker didn't even have his hat or his jacket off.
Yeah.
Just strolls down, hits 1 choke slam, 1, 2, 3.
Like, it would be more believable to see like an aging Sting taken out by like a surprise choke slam, you know, rather than, you know, a young AJ. Like, I don't care, he's in his 40s, but he's still in his prime, very much.
And I think we had sort of shared, I think I shared a link into the group chat after a very heated conversation we had on one of our podcasts.
It's one of those things, although, you know, taking into consideration, like, you know, usually these shows are meaningless, they're just glorified house shows.
Yeah.
Where a result like that doesn't really matter because they want to see the legends and,
yeah,
you know, the crowd were obviously going mad for Undertaker and, you know, didn't
What did
really care
Undertaker
much about
say
AJ.
about AJ, Christopher? What did he say? What did he say?
Hey,
Answer the question.
you know, we can't
This
give
generation too.
we can't give anything away because people are going to hear this podcast before our other podcast. So
That's a fair
we
point,
can't
isn't it?
argue about what was said in the other podcast when no one's going to know what we're talking about because we're putting this one out first.
You'll know. What did Undertaker say about AJ, Christopher? He's this generation
This
too.
generation Shawn Michaels.
That's a good answer, Christopher. Well done. I like that.
Yeah.
That's your favourite wrestler. Talking about
he's
AJ
unreal,
Styles.
so he is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not a murderer. But anyway, so Undertaker wins that match. We'll move on to what could have been match of the night. It was very entertaining. The Miz and John Morrison defeated New Day for the
Hold the phone.
SmackDown tag
Oh, they're
titles.
back.
Hold the phone. Miz and John Morrison are
Our
back.
tag team champions.
Ah, that's so good.
They've been doing some funny like skits and stuff backstage and like.
I'm so happy with that.
No, they've been just so much fun from they've got back together. They've been sort of allowed to do their own thing because Miz is always kind of allowed to do his own thing.
Yeah.
He's sort of trusted like, but so they've been like shooting all their own wee backstage vignettes and all, just been absolute goofballs. Like just Miz and Morrison been. It's real funny. Like they've been getting Miz's dad in it, and he's over.
WWE.
But so that was probably match of the night. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. John Morrison had all his big spots. John Morrison and Kofi had a real good exchange in the ring. Obviously, just two of the most unique, athletic sort of stars there is. Had a real good exchange. Like, and then so the Miz and Morrison defeated the New Day, and I was over the moon because I love the Miz and I quite like Morrison. I like the New Day too, but they've enough tag title reigns.
They have. They definitely have.
I have nothing bad to say about the New Day.
Oh, no.
Like the New Day are going to have a Mania match regardless, but it'd be nice to know now that Miz and Morrison are going to have one.
No, that's definitely. I'm happy enough with Miz and Morrison sort of holding tag belts. Like, it's a nice wee.
After that, there was a singles match, Angel Garza versus Humberto Carrillo. Now, they're both cousins, and this match was fine. It was what it was. They've had much better matches on Raw. They've had much better matches on TV. They've been feuding for a while now.
That says a lot about the pair of them then.
It was what it was. Like, match after that was Rollins and Buddy Murphy defeated the Street Profits. Now, this was a fun match too. I like the Street Profits quite a lot.
Don't know them at all.
Have you not seen any of them?
I haven't seen any of the Street Profits.
They're probably the worst people to be talking on this type of podcast. We don't know anything.
Well, the Street Profits are fairly interesting. From they've been called up to the main roster, they've been doing a lot of backstage segments. They're doing it's almost like a news segment backstage where they don't wrestle a lot from they've been called up, but they do a lot of like backstage segments, sort of going over what's happening in the show and talking about it.
Are these guys that came up through NXT?
NXT, yeah, but they were very talented, like Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. Montez Ford is
Angelo Dawkins is. Well, I know him. I know him, but I don't know the other guy.
Montez Ford, he's full of charisma. He's really athletic. He's a real good wrestler. Sky's the limit for him. Like, he could be a world champ. And then Angelo Dawkins is okay too.
He's a good hand.
He's a good hand, like, but they've good chemistry together. They've worked quite well together, but they were beaten by Rollins and Murphy. But mightn't be the end of that there. And then next was Mansoor versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, if you don't know, Mansoor was introduced a few Saudi shows ago. He's from Saudi Arabia. And he was introduced with like 4 other people who they were bringing into NXT. Right. Saudi superstars of the future, and we're bringing these
over here.
people into NXT. So Mansoor is sort of obviously the most talented out of the ones that they brought in. He's had a few matches. Like he won the Battle Royal at one of the other pay-per-views. Like, and he's unbeaten in the Saudi shows.
Well, of course.
You need to get local over, like.
The fans love him, like the Saudi fans. But he's actually not a bad wrestler for someone who hasn't been doing it that long. Like you can tell he's real athletic, and once he sort of gets his ring work up a bit, he'll be good. Like, but Dolph carried him to a decent match. Like what Dolph does, like
what you'd expect.
But Mansoor went over Dolph Ziggler, which was sort of expected.
Everybody goes over.
Like Mansoor's last match, he beat Cesaro, like, and then the one before that, he won the Battle Royal, and so he's been getting big enough matches at these Saudi shows, like.
Yeah, fair enough. It just annoys me that Dolph Ziggler's a glorified jobber. That irritates me. And
then this next match really, really broke my heart. Ricochet versus Brock Lesnar lasted about 1 minute 30 seconds. Ricochet didn't get a single lick of offense in,
really?
And I don't know what I expected.
I felt so bad because I follow, I think, like the WWE wrestling page on Twitter or something from our new
our Twitter
page
Yeah.
or whatever is the best way to put it. But I seen like Ricochet putting up like, this is my chance at a world title or something, or it wasn't maybe a world title, or was it? It was a world title line. So it was like, and this is gonna be my, I'm so looking forward to it. And it's like, oh, you're gonna get so.
Like the whole build up to it, like, because obviously they've been bringing up a lot about Brock Lesnar struggles with smaller opposition, like because he struggled with AJ Styles, he struggled with Daniel Bryan, so some of the smaller guys and more athletic guys, like like bring him to his limits and like give him a real
Speed.
tough match, like speed. He's he's had some great matches with a lot of them competitors, and obviously Seth Rollins and things as well.
Somehow I don't
Like in the whole
think-
build up to this, they were saying, Brock's had a problem with smaller men, and Ricochet's whole promos leading up to it was like, why can't I do it? And I can beat Brock, and people don't believe I can, but I can, and underdog and all this here. And for him not to get one single lick of offense, he just went in, ate a few suplexes, F5, 1, 2, 3, game over. I just don't get it. I just don't.
No, I mean, there is definitely a theme running through this Saudi show of get people in the ring and on screen that they know.
WWE's booking has got a lot better over the last 6 months, till even longer, because obviously with all the XFL going on, Vince isn't really booking the TV anymore, anything like that. Heyman books Raw, and Raw's been fantastic now for 6 months. Like, every episode's real good. You have good matches, good storylines, long storyline, storylines that actually see satisfying conclusions rather than, being forgot about after 2 weeks. And,
That's positive anyway.
So
like, I mean,
Paul Heyman's been, but this show was just obviously, Vince was there, and obviously Vince had the whole booking control of it, and it's just such a Vince booked show. Like, like if, there's nothing more Vince.
There's nothing more than we would think. Like, if we were trying to get back in, me and you, Tom, more so into it, like, we sort of said that this is helping us, jump back into the wrestling scene a wee bit more. But hearing Paul Heyman book Raw and stuff's always a good show too. Like,
yeah. Whenever I heard him and
Like,
Bischoff
Raw's
were
been so
both
much
being
better than
brought in,
SmackDown.
I thought this can only be good.
Bischoff got the boot after a few
They
weeks.
got rid of him pretty quickly.
Bischoff's got a real sort of an on and off relationship with the WWE, like, doesn't he? Real hot and cold relationship, like.
I've thoroughly been enjoying Raw. Like, Raw's been so good for the last of months. Like, but there's a lot of also past, like, a lot of storylines that are.
It's hard to
Paul Heyman storylines.
It's hard to come up with an original material nowadays too. Like,
okay, they're usually always retreading old ground.
Swinging it a different way, and then
just implementing different superstars, and it more or less just is the same old
like
storylines.
the Authority is the Vince McMahon Stone Cold storyline, and that Authority storyline went on for I don't know how many years.
That match just so disappointed me, but just that I assumed, if they'd give Ricochet and Brock Lesnar 15 minutes and a bit of back and forth and, an even enough contest, it could have been an incredible match, because, say what you want about Brock Lesnar, he's a deadly wrestler, like, he puts on some great matches when he's motivated, when he wants to, he's great, he is an attraction, he's a freak, like, he's so strong, so fast, so powerful. Like, there's not many people on the planet like Brock Lesnar. Like,
he can. Brock Lesnar can put on matches when he wants to, but the Brock Lesnar squash matches are the bane of, wrestling existence.
I'm fed up of seeing them. Like,
it just cripples superstars. Any sort of momentum that gain, Brock just comes in and completely squashes.
Like whenever Kofi obviously went through all the Kofi Mania and had won the title and all, and then got squashed in 30 seconds by Brock Lesnar after one F5 and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Like,
what does that say?
It's like he's just held the title for 8 months and he lost it in 30 seconds, and now he's just back down the tag team scene. Like,
I don't know. I think Brock is cancer.
I don't blame Brock for it. Like, I mean, like, Brock, like, his matches are entertaining, and he's an entertaining, and him coming out with Heyman and the whole stick's good. Like, and it's the booking of Brock that's the problem. But I don't blame Brock, like, necessarily. Like, it's not old school wrestling where he's politicking backstage saying, I'm not going more than 30 seconds with this lad. You know what I mean? Like,
no, well, I don't mean like from a booking standpoint. I just mean I think he should just effectively remove himself from the business altogether. He has nothing to prove at this point. Like, he's probably
won everything there is to win. Like,
it's just the draw factor, like, isn't it? It's
plus he's there, like, when you have someone like Brock that you build up to be that good a heel, like, he's someone that people actually want to see him lose. like people are getting so much behind Drew McIntyre at the minute because they want him to take the title off McMania, and it almost, having a heel like that as your champion almost builds new stars because you want to see him lose it, and whoever it is against him, everyone's going to get behind him and come on, take this title back. And
see, the thing with
Drew, that sort of thing.
The thing with Drew though is Drew's gotten so massive over the last couple of years that he legit looks like he could take out Brock in a fight. So you're not as worried, but as you're saying there, Kofi, had somewhat of a good run with the title, like how hot the crowd were and all for him, after all that time, just for him to lose in 30 seconds, as you're saying.
It was bad.
It's so horrible to see that.
Like Brock, like he's done it before, like when him and AJ Styles had an unbelievable match. They had a great match back and forth, and he sold all day for Brock. And when Brock sells, he can sell. He sold all day for AJ, and him and AJ had a great back and forth, a great match, and he was showing a lot of his athleticism and things off against AJ, and
he can put on a good match. You just have to, you have to let it you have to just build him up, but you can make him the bad heel too. I know that they kind of make him to be all conquering.
What he seems to be now and has been for the last few years, he's final boss. Brock Lesnar. He's the final one to conquer.
So that's a good way to put it.
If you look at it, last year's Mania, it was the big crowning of Seth Rollins where he had to conquer Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Before that, it was all about Roman Reigns. How is he going to conquer Brock Lesnar? He is final boss. Brock Lesnar is what he is.
But the well is run a wee bit dry in regards to that for me. I don't watch WWE now because of that.
You could do with a wee bit of off-screen time now for Brock. I know that he was sort of in and out when he was in his UFC career.
Not like when he's a champion, he's ever on screen.
That's a fair point too, but I mean, you could do with a little bit of him being. But then you need a dance partner. That's the problem. You need to have a meaningful storyline. If you're not putting him in the title picture because he is big enough and a big enough draw to have in the title picture, you then need a dancing partner worthy of competing over the course of 2, 3, whatever pay-per-views.
Well, I think honestly, him and Drew McIntyre could put on an incredible match together. Drew's a real good wrestler, big, strong, athletic, fast. He's got a lot of Brock Lesnar's qualities in him.
Can do, but styles make matches too, and it could be two big sweaty men sweating all over each other for a wee while.
Drew's not a big sweaty man type of big man.
Oh no, I know he can wrestle too. I'm not saying that he can't wrestle. I mean, it'll be a lot of sort of power moves and stuff like that too. Whereas sometimes when you have the sort of underdog, sort of more lightweight, more style of wrestler against the big bad guy, it can be a wee bit more entertaining.
It's not necessarily probably going to be an epic showcase,
Well, that's true. Well, we'll move on to finish off this card, and then we'll discuss more of the road to WrestleMania. So, next match up was the storyline that needs to just die. Please, just end it. Roman Reigns versus King Corbin in a steel cage match. Tom, they're still going strong. They're going so strong.
Vince's match all over the place there.
So this needs to be the final match. I mean,
I don't understand.
It feels like they've been feuding for 4 years now. Can someone tell me how?
Did Reigns not win that? What was it? No disqualification match?
He did, and then he won the loser gets covered in dog food match, and then he won the 6-man tag match the week after, and now he's won the steel cage match, but he's probably going to win their next match in the Elimination Chamber.
With sort of the outcome of this show and then what happened on SmackDown, I think we can see where he's going.
Yeah. Next up was, this was a historic match, and it's good for that there. It was Bayley versus Naomi. And obviously the first ever women's sort of single title match in Saudi Arabia, and it's a real
right enough.
Breaking down the barriers, women's sporting events aren't allowed, and all that. Women,
I think I read something
twagging on there to that now.
I think I read something.
Because the women haven't been allowed to compete at any of the Saudi shows for the whole contract so far.
I think that you had apparently there's now I don't know if it was Saudi Arabia or Qatar or whatever, but one of them sort of Middle Eastern countries they sort of hold the event outside of the city, and there's an area set up which is more Western, influence. You can drink beer and all that sort of carry on. They've got an area set up for it now, I think, or something. I could be wrong, but apparently I think that's something that's going on out there. But I like Bayley. I love Bayley.
Heel Bayley's really entertaining, and she defeats Naomi in a fairly good match. So it was pretty good.
They might be my two favourite female wrestlers, Naomi and Bayley.
Crowd was pretty into it. Although the crowd
a hell of a way to where she is now from
Funkadactyl with Cameron.
Yeah.
Oh, Cameron.
Fair play to her. She's really crafted herself into like a serious competitor.
Oh, I like Naomi.
They had to wear too, like big baggy t-shirts and like they had to have all their skin covered too for this match.
All right, okay.
Oh, actually, you've seen that now that you mentioned it.
Because obviously,
yes,
but it's still a big step, and
yeah,
in Saudi Arabia actually having
new ground.
a women's sporting event and things like that, sort of women showcased and athletic standpoint and things. So, and then the final match. The final match. Goldberg versus The Fiend.
The 30-minute epic.
Where in 3 minutes, all the good work of The Fiend, going straight over the top of Rollins and, taking out Daniel Bryan and The Miz and, The Fiend having this incredible run with the title. And he loses in a 3-minute match till Goldberg, where he ate about 4 spears, followed by the worst jackhammer I have ever seen.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be harsh, because, Goldberg's a man in his mid-50s, and, Bray Wyatt's a big guy, and, it can't be easy to hit Bray Wyatt with a jackhammer.
But Goldberg really.
If you really can't do the jackhammer, don't do the jackhammer.
I seen sort of a backstage interview type thing too, and that man was gassed. He was gassed out, and obviously a lot of athletes in the 90s were taking performance enhancing substances, and maybe Goldberg would need to get back on them or something, because that man was bait after 3 minutes.
Oh, aye.
No cardio whatsoever.
No cardio whatsoever.
So even back in the day, he was all about the squash matches. That was his whole thing.
But even more so now, he really can't go.
He's still entertained in the way that, he's always at that, the main
aura
draw to him was the aura, the intensity.
Yeah.
He's just, to look at him, he's so intense. He always, he's always growling and,
he's a big fan.
The sparks and the blowing the smoke when he's coming down, and just the,
Goldberg's got a good character.
He does, he's just this real, there's no one more intense in this here than Goldberg, Maybe Ultimate Warrior.
Warrior, yeah.
But, for just intensity, just raw energy, with Goldberg.
But it's so Bray Wyatt, it hurts, the man's
I've never seen a wrestler who gets the rug pulled out from under him more than Bray Wyatt,
The only thing that I can say about Bray Wyatt and his character, it does go down the same lines. Obviously, Grippy, you're a massive fan of Undertaker too, but for me, I don't know about what you think about Tom. Obviously, you're Undertaker fanboy, but I always felt a wee bit weird having the title on Undertaker.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He's not really a character that should be holding titles.
You know what I mean. So I know it's cool, and he always did have the odd title run here and there. And I know Bray's gonna have that throughout his career, probably a title run here and there.
Seems like it's gonna be him Cena Mania.
But it was always somebody that.
That's a good match for him.
You know what?
He should have went in as champion,
But the thing is that's I actually don't mind that book, and I know that it kind of was the whole it's Goldberg ended up getting it, so maybe not Goldberg being put over.
I get where you're coming from. But
you need the good evil thing.
Yeah.
You need the good evil thing, and there's no better good character in WWE than John Cena. There's no more evil character in WWE than The Fiend.
But they're just putting it in Goldberg so they can put it in Reigns.
Of course they are.
Yeah, well, that's what.
Reigns going over The Fiend. People mightn't like that at WrestleMania. It's a very smarky crowd, but Reigns going over Goldberg. People would love that.
Goldberg's. I wasn't a big fan of Goldberg taking the title, to be fair, but I can see why they take it off The Fiend. It's not that type of character's hard to
not before Mania. If you've got him this far with the title, if you put the title on him and build up to Mania, let him ride it out to Mania. If you have him drop it at Mania, fine.
I don't know. It's just I'm only basing it off of what they did after, which is set him up against Cena, and I think that storyline makes sense.
Yeah,
so long as Cena does the JOB, and lays down for him.
Maybe.
If a part-time Cena goes over The Fiend, that's just crushing the aura that he's managed to build for himself. After everyone thought the damage before was irreversible. If they squash him again terribly, there's no coming back.
Is that too?
I don't think they would do something like that. I think hopefully the people that run the show know the right thing to do, which is to put him over against John Cena, because I didn't even realize this is how out of the flow I am. I didn't realize that Bray Wyatt's thing for the last wee while has just been battling opponents that in his past, his previous incarnation of Bray Wyatt,
Oh, aye.
he was taken out by them, like at
Actually,
various
and he's turning people too. Like when
he
after he
changes
finished with
their
Rollins, he
characters
changes
almost.
them.
Yeah.
Like he's turned Rollins heel, he turned Bryan face.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It is an interesting concept. Like
He's gonna turn Cena heel. The Cena heel turn we've been waiting on for 14 years is coming.
I seen a heel turn once. You mean when he came out the ring
and
and
he
was
turned,
like, I'm gonna turn my heel.
In fairness, that popped me.
Cena knows how to do it.
No, I can see that having Cena and you can't have all title matches at Wrestlemania and stuff, and you need something to entice the crowd, and having the most face guy in the company with the big evil characters not bad for a Mania event, obviously. But I mean, just giving it to Goldberg.
Even having another big title match like Goldberg. I don't know. Like realistically, at this Mania, the Brock Lesnar match might be a good match, but it might not. It might be short. It might be long. Who knows? But there's not a chance that Goldberg's going to be putting on a title epic. You know, that Goldberg match, no matter who he's going up against, is going to last. It'll be Roman Reigns. It'll going to last a few minutes, and it'll be spear, jackhammer spear, Superman punch spear, finished. You know what I mean?
It'll be a spot match.
Aye, that's 100% what it'll be. If it lasts over 5 minutes, I'll eat my hat, and I'm not even wearing a hat. I will go out and purchase a hat just for the sole purpose of eating it.
You know, Tom, you're an awfully jaded wrestling fan, and we'll end up watching Mania together, and I genuinely can't wait to see the absolute look of disdain on your face when it's a Goldberg Roman Reigns match.
He still does his entrance though, which is quite good, when the camera follows him straight from his locker, the Goldberg locker, and then he comes out of the thing, and he gets this arms, when he's always at that, the security then takes him down to the ring. And
the irony of this is, I was a WCW guy growing up. I didn't watch WWF.
Mr. Goldberg.
Goldberg was one of those guys I loved, but just to see a 53-year-old Goldberg go over Bray Wyatt, and off air how vocal I have been about Bray Wyatt in the past. I don't like him at all.
See, I actually like the character of Bray Wyatt. I think that you need that evil entity character in the WWE.
Because he plays it so well.
It's lost without the Undertaker. Undertaker was a face of evil or whatever, face evil character.
You need a guy there consistently week in, week out, Don't get me wrong, it does seem like
Keane played that for a while.
Yeah. Bray seems to be making absolute strides at the moment, and all the power to him, but,
especially because he has full, creative control over that, and his whole split personality thing, where he's,
but see,
1 minute he's nice Bray, and...
This is the thing, though, this is the weird thing with it too. We talked about this a long time ago, and that's the reason I think I had sort of pushed for Bray to end the streak. So that would be his calling card. He's the evil, the opposite to Undertaker, the evil entity, all that carry on that ends the streak. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they ended up giving it to Brock.
Yeah.
But obviously, legitimately enough or whatever too. But the thing with the Undertaker was to hold him off with the fact that he's this character that doesn't really suit having titles on him and things of that nature. I just found it weird seeing the dead man with the belt. It was so strange looking. It took away from the aura.
Yeah.
So you need something to get Bray Wyatt's character, and what they did obviously with the Undertaker to keep him relevant, to keep him this sort of figure, was to give him an undefeated streak. And they haven't come up with something that they can do with Bray Wyatt to keep him that relevant, because then what happens is that he goes on a hot streak. And then what happens is what happened to his initial Bray Wyatt character, where he became completely irrelevant. And I tested that because I thought the character was good.
Even after the match, they could have done something he attacked Goldberg or did something. Literally after the match, Goldberg was celebrating, and then Bray Wyatt gets up, and then all the lights go out, and then Bray Wyatt disappears, and then all the lights come back on, and he's just no longer there.
See,
alright, so he just sort of ran away from Goldberg.
that was the only match I actually tuned into. I actually watched it because you can find it on YouTube, because it's so short.
Yeah.
But I watched all that. I thought that was pretty cool, actually, because, he took all them spears, then he took the jackhammer, and, okay, fair enough. He took
the best jackhammer I've ever seen.
Well, bots, definitely, but... seeing Bray get up and then sort of go to the corner, and it didn't look like he was defeated. It just looked like it was like a setback for him. And I think even
but that's Bray's got he can't be hurt is the whole thing about him, and in that Daniel Bryan match where he took an absolute battering with the strap, and then just sat straight up and was completely fine, and mandible claw and
Well, see, the thing is too, I heard, you'll know this more than myself, Dev. Obviously, you watch the damn thing every week. I heard some sort of rumors that they're going to try and bring it back to off the PG rating now, aren't they?
Oh, they're talking about
They're
that.
talking about it,
Getting
so
off the PG rating.
We're just generally talking about
Also,
wrestling here
another
tonight,
if we're doing a Road to Mania, a wee bit of news too is that they're also talking about not having Mania on the network.
right?
They're talking
Selling
about
it to
selling
somebody?
Mania, like every other pay per view will be in the network, but Mania will be a third party. It's
Maybe
meant to
like
be ESPN Plus or whatever you call that,
Just
and
to
they're
make
meant to
a
be
dung
selling
load of
it to that till just make a dung load of money.
Well,
So-
just slightly back to the Bray thing, just before we wrap up, maybe if they are going to maybe go down that sort of route with like a character like Bray and sort of having a thing to do, it wouldn't maybe be a bad thing if you're going to move away from sort of PG rating to have him like not like a hardcore champion or something, but like somebody that engages in these matches and rivalries and feuds with people that leads to like maybe like steel cage matches or things like the Undertaker did do, matches like the Undertaker did have to
Undertaker
make
basically
his
created the Hell in a Cell match.
Hell in a Cell match,
yeah,
buried live matches, all these things. These are the things that you need to put in place to get a character. Like, he mightn't be everybody's favorite wrestler, but he's clearly very strong. He's got like a brutish grappling style. He's physical.
Oh, he's
And if
a
you
good
put him-
he's a good wrestler, talented
character's
wrestler.
really
He's
good.
great on the mic. Like,
So if you've got something along those lines, sorry, if you've got something along those lines where he's not, I'm not saying like a hardcore champion because it would be a wee bit weird. It hasn't been about for a long time, and WWE mightn't want
the
that sort of
24/7 title is basically the hardcore title now.
but something along those lines where you could be like, no, when you face the Fiend or the Wyatt, you go to like you go into a match that's gonna change your career or something.
Yeah.
Something that's a real physical.
Did they not try that with what was it, the House of Horrors match?
Oh,
or
aye,
something
the
they
House
had?
of Horrors
That
match.
was horrible.
It was terrible. Him and
Oh
Randy
my
Orton
good
just
God.
walking around like a haunted house, throwing each other into fridges and the like.
Well, maybe not go that far. I mean, maybe just put like him in a steel cage, like where
And the Ambrose Asylum match, it was terrible too. Actually, WWE's got a bad track record recently of that.
Yeah. It would be cool. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I think it would,
something to make him like a.
Although I did enjoy their Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt's match at the Hardy compound.
oh,
The final deletion match.
Dave, it's great.
It's class. It is wrestling, Dave.
No, it's not. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I will delete you.
Oh, I hate it.
Do you want me to start being
Dave.
controversial here by saying Matt Hardy's the better Hardy?
Oh, get away from me. Get away from me.
I
He
don't
is.
agree with that. But
Oh, he is though. He is. He really is.
Oh, just running around
He
deleting
is.
everybody. See, you weren't in the doldrums of the TNA era when this shit was going on. And you're like, what are you doing? What is
Here,
happening here?
He made himself super relevant again.
No,
yeah.
just go back
He
to
did.
like,
Jeff Hardy
matches,
has
matches.
Jeff Hardy has never had a gimmick. That's been
Jeff
his
Hardy doesn't
it
relevant.
also looks like Matt Hardy could be going to
Jeff Hardy
AEW.
has no gimmick. That's
He's
his
the
gimmick.
world heavyweight champion.
Oh, right, okay, right,
He
okay.
beats CM Punk
That's
or
that's the argument. Right, okay.
It also looks like Hardy could be going to AEW.
Oh,
That would
really?
be a bad move for his career. AEW
Yeah.
are high on spots and stuff.
Mm.
Just we'll go on and talk about that. Maybe round out a wee bit of AEW news because we.
Yeah, I
wrestling.
wouldn't mind
I
talking
haven't
about
watched
something
it.
positive.
Well, I haven't watched the AEW pay-per-view yet, but well, positive. The Elimination Chamber is always a good watch. Like, it's always pretty fun, and it's obviously coming up. And we have 3 confirmed matches so far for the Elimination Chamber. This first one, I believe it's just a formality. It's definitely 100% going to be Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler at Mania. Shayna Baszler's already attacked her, ripped her neck open. They had a big beatdown on Raw there, where like all the members of this Elimination Chamber match, it was for the #1 contendership for Becky's title, but like all the members of this were out in the ring and they were all fighting each other, but it was Shayna and Becky were fighting each other while everyone else was doing their, So it's definitely, this is just going to be a showcase match for Shayna Baszler to go in. She's obviously been building up to it, saying, I'm a cage fighter, do you think I'm afraid of getting into an Elimination Chamber, it's a cage, I'm born for this and that sort of thing.
That's
Yeah.
good.
But it's so in this match is going to be Natalya, Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler, Asuka, Ruby Riott, and Sarah Logan in the Elimination Chamber match. And I think it's just for Shayna Baszler to go in
Just
and
rip them apart.
absolutely dominate.
Yeah.
It should have been her at the Rumble, 100%. But she did come in. She did get 8 eliminations, which is the joint most for any woman. And she made it to the final 2. She had a good showing at the Rumble, and if she comes out now and just destroys the field at the Elimination Chamber, that's her back on track to be a real good opponent for Becky at Mania.
Yeah.
And is it weird that the women's matches are going to be so much better than the men's matches of this year's Mania?
Probably not. The women's division really,
Fucking good.
it's good.
But I've also guaranteed now NXT Charlotte versus
Oh yeah, that girl Rhea or something.
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
That match is now guaranteed for Mania, so that'll be a good match too.
It's a wee bit of an odd move there. I didn't see
So
that
what
coming.
happened there?
She, do you know the way she won the Rumble, obviously, and then she has a choice of selecting whatever champion
Yeah,
she
Charlotte.
wants.
I know
Yeah,
she was teasing it.
she went
Nice,
for the
she was
NXT
NXT.
champion.
Oh really?
Because well, basically she had sort of been coming out and she was cutting a promo basically saying, oh well, I've already beaten Bayley for the titles before, and I've already beaten Becky, and I don't know who I'm going to choose. And then Rhea Ripley come down to the ring, and Rhea Ripley goes, "You've never beaten me." And everyone goes, "Oh." Then she's like, "Actually, I've beaten you." And everyone's like, "Oh." And then it's set up.
That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a different wee angle.
It's different. Like I like the way the swing.
Rhea has to go over her, like.
I think she will. Yeah, I definitely
Maybe
think so.
it'll not be a clean win though, will it?
Because I can't honestly see Charlotte
No,
going
you
back
should see
down
this
to
girl.
NXT.
Like she
class,
is a monster.
But it's just hard for me to think that they're going to book Charlotte to lose at Mania and for an NXT person to get over on her. Maybe not. Maybe she does lose, but maybe not like clean. Maybe interference or.
I don't know. Rhea's the face, like, so if Rhea wins, it's going to be clean, like.
But do you know the way they might be like it could be somebody
Although there's ways that they're kind of build it up, like now Bianca Belair was facing off against Charlotte and stuff like there.
So Bianca Belair
so it could
intervenes
end
and
up
Rhea Ripley rolls her up or something.
Or it could even end up like it looks like it probably won't happen this way, but they're kind of building it slightly that it could be a triple threat. So then Charlotte doesn't have to eat the pin to lose.
Yes, I see. That makes more sense. Fair enough.
But
after that Rumble performance, I think Bianca definitely deserves to get
Bianca's
like a slot.
class, like.
Yeah.
What now? See, I'm completely losing track here, and I'm losing names, and I can't remember.
Bianca Belair is the one with the long
ponytail.
No, I know, but I want Bianca Belair versus thingy. Oh, we were talking about it earlier. She's facing back or not Becky.
Shayna.
Bayley.
She's facing Bayley, not Bayley.
Naomi.
Yes, that's what I want. I want Naomi and Bianca Belair just to put on an absolute spectacle.
Or even be a tag team to take on Asuka and Kairi Sane for the tag
That
titles.
would be unbelievable.
That could happen.
That'll just be the most athletic women's tag, pairing ever.
And the next match that was set up is for Elimination Chambers. It's probably going to be a squash match, but it's upsetting if it is. But who knows what way it'll go. So Intercontinental Champion Braun Strowman will be having a match against a 3-on-1 handicap match against Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn.
Who holds the
That
title?
is the most random match I have ever heard.
Who wins the title? Whoever pins him?
I don't think it's a title match. I just think they're having a 3-on-1 handicap
I did
match.
see them attack him.
Do you know what I think's horrible? The fact that Sami doesn't wrestle anymore.
He's
really
just a manager
bothers
now,
me.
like.
That guy is amazing.
Unbelievable.
he
lad,
He
aye.
should not be in a managerial role. He needs to be an active superstar.
Oh my god.
The other
AEW,
matches-
I'll just send him over there or something and let him go.
The other Elimination Chamber match is going to be very fun.
El Generico hasn't been seen for a long time, so maybe he'll
bring
pop
El
up
Generico
again.
back, But the final match that has been announced, guaranteed for Elimination Chamber, is a tag team Elimination Chamber match for the SmackDown tag titles.
All right.
It's so Miz and John Morrison are obviously in it as champions, as well as the New Day, the Usos, Heavy Machinery, and Lucha House Party, and Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, or Robert Roode, sorry. So, like, the last time the Elimination Chamber tag match was very fun, like, and this could be very fun.
I can lead to a lot of big spots and I like
It'll be huge, full of spots, like
John Morrison
Tammy
is
the
definitely
Usos out jumping off something incredibly high.
John Morrison is definitely climbing the pod, climbing the top of the roof, and then leaping down at everybody.
Starship Pain.
He's already done it before. He's going to do it again. I love it.
And there's obviously the New Day are capable of big spots. The Usos, of course, Lucha House Party are, definitely.
Who is Lucha House Party? Is
Kalisto, Grand Metalik, and Lindsay Dorado.
All right, Sin Cara gone, is he?
No, he's still there. You never see him on TV anymore. He's jobber, like.
Fair enough. That experiment failed.
So there's the 3 matches that have been announced so far for Elimination Chamber, and it's looking good. Like,
and then it looks like Roman Reigns is going to be Goldberg at Mania.
It looks like Roman Reigns will be Goldberg at Mania. It looks like Cena and The Fiend, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll get Drew and Brock.
Yeah.
We'll get probably Shayna Baszler, unless they pull some kind of swerve ball, which would upset me deeply. But it'll be Shayna Baszler versus Becky. Not sure about Bayley yet, who she'll be taking on. Who else have we got?
Sasha's back, isn't she?
Sasha's back. That could be a big Mania match, you know.
Sasha's back.
That would be good. Like, I'd enjoy that there. Face Sasha versus a heel Bayley. You'll have their story come full circle. Like,
it's kind of weird that Sasha's almost became like the almost forgotten one out of that.
Sasha sort of led the
to be fair, it was Becky Lynch for a while. Like, for a couple of years, she was the forgotten 4-horsewoman, and now she's the biggest name.
Bayley's the underrated one, and I love Bayley.
but Bayley's never been just sort of ignored. If you get what
I
I
know
mean.
what you mean.
It's almost like Sasha. Well, in my eyes, I don't watch the product
she's
consistently, but
she was kind of injured. But like after last year's Mania, she took a ball in the home and looked like she was going to leave and all
that,
and then she sort of finally came back, and then sort of been in and out of a couple of injuries and stuff, and she's just sort of kind of halted any progress.
Yeah,
I know. It should be leading up to a decent wee Mania. Like, there'll be a few interesting. It'll be interesting to definitely to see what they do with.
It looks like also Undertaker and Styles too. Like,
oh yeah.
Although it's a lot like in the men's division, anyway, the women's division could be quite interesting, but the men's division anyway, it's a lot of.
I really, really hope Styles
legends.
buries your dude, man.
Like, you have Goldberg, and you'll have Taker, and you'll have Cena, and you'll have.
What's your thoughts on that?
AJ has to win, like, but Taker probably will.
Oh, I'm glad you're not saying something silly.
I don't know, man. It's AJ retires Taker. Oh yeah, I'd be so happy with that. I'd be so very.
Roman's already retired Taker.
True.
No, it should be interesting, hey.
I think an AJ Taker match will be class.
If Goldberg holds the title through Elimination Chamber.
I'd say I'd say he's carrying that all the way to Mania.
Could be, aye.
Goldberg won't even have a match on the Elimination Chamber card. Like, it'll be Goldberg now to Mania.
You reckon?
No, 100%.
He'll not be seen unless it's via satellite.
Fair enough.
Actually, no, to be fair, one of them might have to have a match on Elimination Chamber's card. They can't really have both of the world titles off it. But they might. Without even having...
But then, are the Elimination Chambers not always been sort of like...
Because the two Elimination Chambers is the women's one and the tag one, like, so there's going to be no world title Elimination Chamber or number one contenders Elimination Chamber or anything like that. It's, well, obviously the women's world title, like, but...
Yeah. Sort of maybe then a wee quick word, me and Tom sort of sat down and watched a wee bit of the AEW pay-per-view last night.
Yeah, really good. Didn't get to finish it, unfortunately.
No, I still have to watch the
I haven't started it yet, although I'm looking forward to watching it. I love me some AEW too, like.
Aye. To anybody that's listening, we might put this podcast out this week. We were talking about putting out maybe the NFL future quarterbacks one, but because this one's current, maybe put this one out.
Put this one out before next weekend, I think's Elimination Chamber.
So maybe put this one out instead of it. But anyway, just anybody that follows wrestling, watch the Young Bucks versus Omega and Hangman Page.
Hangman is my guy. I really enjoy him.
I think Hangman's quite overrated.
The only way he is overrated is in the sense that he's over as hell with that crowd that were in Chicago. I couldn't believe
I quite like Hangman. Like, he's quite a good wrestler and all. Like, but it just.
I want to hear your argument. Why is he overrated though?
There's better wrestlers. Like.
I don't know. I've watched wee bits and pieces of the Young Bucks.
The Young Bucks are fantastic.
Last night was one of the best wrestling matches I have ever seen.
The Young Bucks are bringing tag team. Like, any Young Bucks match I've ever watched has been class. You want to go back and watch some of their matches with the Lucha Brothers? Is just fantastic.
I've seen a wee bits and pieces of them, but I mean that they went for 30 minutes last night, and there was so many close falls, so many points where you're like, this is it now. They're ending this now. And it wasn't. They kept going.
Yeah, I kept jumping out of the seat.
Many close kickouts.
Yeah, like I haven't been that passionate about a match probably since maybe Mania when we watched the last year.
About 20-25 minutes in when Omega's hot tagged in and cleans, you're like, this is it. This is it right now.
Completely. This is it over.
And it's not like.
I think Kenny's the best wrestler on the planet. Like, bar none. Like.
He's definitely up there anyway. He's down there.
He's the best wrestler in the world. Like.
See, I could probably turn around and counter you and just go, I think he's overrated.
Fair enough.
I do generally believe Kenny Omega is seriously overrated. Seriously overrated.
His matches were Okada, but were some of the best matches in wrestling history.
I didn't catch that many of them.
I did see one of his matches with Okada and it was damn good.
I'm not saying by any stretch that he's a bad wrestler. I'm not even implying that. I'm just saying I think he just is a little bit overrated just in terms of like.
Well, in the North American audience, sometimes when I'm watching AEW, like I can find because you know he wrestled that long in Japan. He's still like
very Japanese style.
Like a lot of the things he does is like it works in Japan, but
Yeah,
in
maybe
from
not
North
necessarily.
American, it almost looks a bit stupid or childish sometimes.
That thing, I know what you're talking about. He's got a wee bit of Shinsuke in him, like he wrestles quite similarly to Shinsuke, like.
Like but he's still like in between the like in the squared circle, like he's class, like. I also want to give a special shout out to one of my AEW favorite Luchasaurus. From the first moment I seen you, Luchasaurus, I knew you were the one to fill that gold dust-shaped hole in my heart.
Oh God, I had to Google him earlier when you were talking about it.
Oh man, Luchasaurus is the one. He's in the tag team with a guy called Jungle Boy, who's absolutely tiny, and then a guy called Marco Stunt, who's even smaller.
They're such a strange tag team, but for some odd reason they work.
Oh, they work so well. Tom, agree with me here?
I agree. Like we had that like text messaging back and forward off air like earlier. You know, I wasn't even implying Luchasaurus is bad. It's just, you know, you were going in hard at Hangman and I had to use something against you because it just I didn't
No, I mean that AEW pay-per-view was class. There was definitely a few good matches in it, and I'm definitely going to go in and watch the Jericho Ambrose, or not Ambrose, sorry. Moxley.
Yeah. Gonna have to go.
Ambrose is dead.
Ambrose is dead, aye. But no, that there, the Young
Did
Bucks.
Sean Spears get a match in the card?
I don't know.
I'm looking forward to watching.
No, I don't think he did, lad. No.
The last match I got.
See, I'm not familiar with the AEW roster, like so.
Sean Spears is Ty Dillinger.
You know.
10. Oh yeah, no, I don't think I seen him, no.
No, I don't think he showed up at all.
But then I was like drifting in out of sleep at points.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, there's a match on that card. I don't know if I'm gonna have the strength to watch it. Not because of one of the competitors, but certainly because of the other one. Pac is in it.
I love Orange Cassidy. Don't you start?
I am leaving this
Orange
podcast.
Cassidy is fantastic.
Don't you tell me that. What? You just said Hangman is overrated, but yet Orange Cassidy is great.
Hangman's just another guy who, you know, comes along and I'm the good wrestler and I do good wrestling. Look at me do the good grab.
They were all chanting cowboy shit.
But what Orange Cassidy, what I like about him is he's so different. In a world where everything in wrestling's been done before, Orange Cassidy has never been done.
I completely disagree.
Well,
has there been an Orange Cassidy before?
No, and I hope there never is ever again. This guy
needs
needs to go.
Something unique.
There's nothing unique about it. It is shit.
Do you know who Orange Cassidy is?
I seen him last night. Thought I.
Did they do the suicide dive with the hands in the pockets?
Yeah.
Did he wrestle a lot of the match with the hands in the pockets?
Aye.
I know Orange Cassidy.
Interesting stuff.
You are part of the problem.
It's wrestling splits opinions, to be totally honest.
No one's wrong or no one's right when it comes to wrestling.
You're definitely not right about Orange Cassidy.
Dave's always wrong. But
we have some interesting wrestling. We have an interesting wrestling podcast coming out. Me and Dave got pretty heated on it. Well,
Dave, what's your opinion on Orange Cassidy now that the debate here? You've only seen him once. I've seen him a few times, so maybe it's not a good.
Strange.
It's just very chilled. Cool.
Strange. I was actually watching recently the stuff with what do you call the guy that wrestles with no shoes on?
Matt Riddle.
I was watching the stuff with Matt Riddle and Goldberg and all that, and him just going off on everybody. He's an interesting guy, but
Matt Riddle's the future, like.
It'll be good leading up to Mania.
Well, we'll do now that we're sort of wrapping up on our Mania. We'll do a quick once around, I know we're quite a far way off and things, but we'll do a quick prediction. So who do you think's going to leave Mania with both of the world titles and both of the women's titles, just for the crack?
So
with only two matches that we have is the NXT and obviously Shayna and Becky, and then between Roman and McIntyre and Goldberg and Reigns, who do you think will be leaving Mania with all the gold? We'll start with you, Tom.
Okay. Well, I think it's written in stone that Roman Reigns is going to have this crowning moment yet again at WrestleMania. He's definitely going to take that title.
But he's got a bad record of Mania, does he not?
A lot of times they're planning the crowning moment and then they just have him lose to sort of swerve people.
I just don't see it happening.
No, I don't see it happening.
Goldberg's not here to stay. So Roman for that title. That's the
Universal.
Is that the Universal? Oh, okay. WWE. Yeah, definitely Drew. It's got to be Drew.
I think you have to roll with Drew now, don't you? Like, I think you have to have Drew carry it. Just you need it off Brock for a while, and I think Drew will come out with it.
And Drew's got himself real over too, which is good. The crowd love him, and they actually had a real fun interview segment. It was like a real, like, what's the best word to use to describe it? Like off script, like shoot interview almost. With like Charlie Crusoe on Raw, where he basically was talking about just basically his career and his first run, and talking about how he was dubbed the chosen one, obviously, and then he sort of he found himself sort of down the card with 3MB, and he found himself sort of resting on his laurels, and he wasn't really pushing himself, and he was like drinking a lot, and then he ended up getting fired from WWE, and he says he deserved to be fired, and if he was Vince, he'd have fired him and all.
Yeah.
And then he just talks about his work and his building himself back up, and then coming back to the company, and
he's a different guy.
It was a real good interview.
He's definitely changed his career path anyway. You didn't really see when he left the company that he would be headlining.
The position he's in.
Headlining a Mania against. What about the women's titles, Tom? Who's your predictions?
Baszler's definitely going over Becky. I think Becky's time in the spotlight has probably not run dry, but they're definitely going to.
Well, I like Becky better chasing, to be fair. It would be fun if Baszler takes it, dominates the division for a while, and then Becky chases her down to Mania again.
Yeah, I think it makes the most sense.
I would say so.
Keeps it fresh.
I'd agree with that, probably.
And then I would say I'm going to go with not the rookie. I don't want to say the rookie from NXT, but I would love to see Rhea Ripley go over Charlotte. I don't think Charlotte needs to.
Oh, she doesn't
win another Mania match.
And hopefully Bayley holds the other title.
What about you, Dave? Predictions?
I'd probably go pretty much similar to Tom there. I would think so. I would definitely give Drew the belt over Brock. He needs it. I just have the only sort of weird thing that I have is maybe Goldberg drops it before. Maybe they get him some other road. Maybe I don't know. But from seeing him only being able to go 3 minutes, which was clearly a show of get people on TV that they know, and Goldberg's one of them, and him only going 3 minutes. You can't put that material out there. I know it could be like a 10-minute sort of spot match, but at the same time, maybe it is. But maybe that's the only thing that I could throw in that's maybe a bit of a curveball. Maybe Goldberg doesn't hold the title going into Mania.
I enjoyed Goldberg's match with Brock for the title.
Yeah, it was short and sweet.
It was but it was really good. There was a few big hitting spots, a few real good power moves. Only went about 5 minutes, but it was a fucking fun 5-minute match.
It was like the shock match of the night. It shouldn't have been as fun and as good as it was, but it fucking was.
It was just fun,
It's interesting, obviously a wee bit of interest in the AJ Styles Undertaker match. I really want AJ to go over. That for me will be the highlight of watching Mania.
AJ will have to go over in that, but they also might not.
He might not. They've got a real weird way of booking the Undertaker, but certain people are going over him and certain people not.
How many people have ever run over him in Mania? Obviously Brock and Roman.
So it's strange when there's other people that you think could do it.
Yeah.
But that'd probably be the highlight for me now. I'm definitely going to tune into AEW a wee bit too much more. I really enjoyed watching that Young Bucks.
AEW, lad, every Wednesday, 2-hour show, pay-per-view every few months. Tune in, lad. It's a good watch. To be fair, I haven't watched it regularly weekly. In a while, when it first come on, I was watching it every week, but then it's sort of tough when you're watching everything.
I've discussed this with you before. I think the way for me to properly get back into watching it weekly is watching it with, say, the likes of yourself and Dave. Watching it as a group, because there's just something about the energy when you're watching it with your mates or whatever. You just feed off each other, and all this big spots, you get to turn around and go, did you just see that?
How is he still alive?
Well, I think we'll probably bomb one out maybe after. We said that we weren't too sure if we were going to do another one. Basically, we ended up doing this one because circumstances this week led us to be doing another wrestling one.
I didn't have sort of notes ready for another one and things, and we were just like, well, there's still a lot going on in wrestling. Let's just do it on the cuff wrestling one.
We can do a wee sort of off the cuff wrestling one. But we'll maybe tune back in before Mania. I don't know, maybe a wee bit if we get to
I'd say I would like to do maybe not another wrestling. Well, another sort of current events wrestling one. We'll maybe squeeze another one in with the NFL and stuff coming out.
Yeah,
could be hard enough to find in the other American sports ones. But I'd say I would like to, if you would be interested, another sort of planning on air moment. it'd be cool to do just before Mania a predictions
Once you know when.
and release it. Like, once
yeah.
we know the full card,
Full card, yeah.
like, you know, we could do a predictions. And,
That'd be fair enough.
you
We could do a wee build up and then a reaction to it too.
and a
Like.
reaction to it after, because obviously we're going to do a reaction to Mania after, but it'd be cool to do a predictions to Mania before.
That'd be good once you know the card. Like.
Now, once the card, you know, right now still a lot of speculation. Like, you know, Shayna Baszler and Becky, you know, might not happen. It's definitely going to happen, but you know.
Well, that's good tonight, fellas. So we've been releasing stuff. We're into our third week now, releasing stuff. Stuff's going well. Keep downloading. We're on Podbean. We got good news this week. We're up on iHeartRadio now too for anybody that uses that as a platform to listen to their podcasts. It's been going well so far, lads. We're going to probably put this one out this week, just because it's current.
Yeah.
We'll maybe put that NFL one back a wee touch. That, although it does need to go out shortly because it was recorded before the Super Bowl. On Mondays are going to be our nerd culture stuff. Tuesdays American sports of some description, and then Thursdays football. So that's going to be our sort of release thing for the foreseeable.
I'd like to thank everyone who's subscribed already and everyone who's sort of tuning in and watching our podcasts weekly and enjoying them. And
randomly enough, there's like somebody, if you're listening to this one, I don't know which ones you listen to, it must be the American sports section, but there's somebody in Michigan, right? And they've downloaded like 5 podcasts. I don't know who you are. I don't even know how the hell you understand what we're saying, but we appreciate you if you're listening.
Yeah.
Like,
big shout out to the Michigan guy or
there's
girl.
somebody in Michigan and there's somebody in California.
Oh.
There's a couple in Canada.
There's a few around Europe too. I've seen.
We've got a Danish person. They've listened to one and then they clearly didn't come back, so they're all good. We have one in India as well, so I don't even know, but they haven't come back. But the person in Michigan is listening and is consistently downloading podcasts. I have no idea who the hell it is.
If the person from Michigan is listening right now, shout out to you, my friend.
Give it to all your mates. All of them. But that's good tonight, lads. Say goodbye. That'll do us for the night, I think.
Goodbye.
Farewell.
Alright. Cheers. Thanks for listening.